Hey everyone, Steve here from Big Head Tech, and well, by the title, you'll know the answer. But I actually don't know at the time of filming. So the good news is I'm filming this at the end of October, and I have content queued through the beginning of November, and I have a lot more content to go through. So let's take a look here. In this box alone, what I have to review in November: a addressable RGB cooler from ID Calling, 4-pin RGB cooler also from ID Calling, a 3-pack RGB fan set from Montech, an i5 8400, what? Okay. 2 NVMe SSDs, RX 5600 XT. Then here, I think I have a motherboard and I also have a case. I have a lot to do, and hopefully I'll be able to get this all done this weekend, but we'll see. Luckily I have this competitor so I can actually do head-to-head. But today we're going to do the case. Yeah, let's do the case first. We're going to do the unboxing, the overview and impressions of the Montech Air X ARGB. There are definitely some downsides to this. However, I think for what I'm doing, and hopefully I'm not proven wrong, this will actually be a pretty cool build. Because we actually did end up with a micro ATX board because that offered the best value for what I wanted to do. It had a good enough VRM, it had all the RGB, it had Wi-Fi built in, because this is going to be a retail unit that I'm hoping to make $100 on or so profit. That'd be nice. First impressions here. Manuals in 2 languages, which is a plus. Works with everything we're working with. I think we're using a gigabyte board, so. But yeah, it looks to be through the LED button. Cool. It even tells you have to actually press the LED. You have to actually press the LED button, press and hold for 3 seconds to sync with the motherboard. So that's good to have that like in the first couple of pages. First impressions, it is light for the size, but I probably didn't want to do that because you risk this. Please lay the case down when room tempered glass side panel. That's a really good suggestion. Just kind of eyeing it up here. I like the look to it. Okay, that's the plastic. Thought it was scratch. We have a mesh front. This is a pretty standard mid-tower case, not too big, not too small. But let's go ahead and open her up and see what she's all about. Okay, so let's go ahead, and it tells you to lay it down, so I will listen. And I've actually read one review on this already, which is why I have some preconceived thoughts, but we'll see how true they are. But it does say turn this on its side to open, so we're going to do that. Let's break these open because they're machined in. So normally these are, and this is probably why it tells you to lay it down, on the front. These are on the back, and these are not captive, which I didn't really expect them to be honest, but there we go. We're going to lift, or is this slide? I forget, does it lift or slide? I think it slides. Yep, it slides backwards. So they don't want it to fall off, so they tell you to do it that way. I, for one, support putting any documentation that's easily seeable that is going to guide you in the right direction. So we'll put these back on here. So this case was $70, I believe. Something like that. I think it was on sale for $70. So first things first. Okay, thank God, these are screw out. That would have been inexcusable, 100%. We have a 120 millimeter fan here, two 200s in the front. From my understanding, 200s don't move a lot of air. This fan does not look top-notch quality by any means, but it should get the job done. I mean, it's not super light. The fan blades look more hybrid. They're not necessarily high airflow or high static pressure, which is fine. Let's take off the back here. This will kind of give us insight into the rest of the system. And then we'll look at the bottom. I know has dust filters, top has dust filters, the front's mesh. So we'll kind of get into all of that before we actually go to building it. There we go. Pull this off, lay this there, put these back in before I lose them. I don't know what these are. Oh, that's to the board. Okay. So I believe this does need to be, yeah, this needs to be powered regardless. But what I like is so these are proprietary power connectors, which I'm perfectly fine with that portion. What I like is these are all standard, there's glue on there. Standard 3-pin addressable RGB, and these are standard fans. So that's one of the reasons why I got this case. I think my board only has one addressable RGB, and even the existing fans, you know, say you wanted to use this fan in a new case for whatever reason, uses this standard connector as well. And to be honest, this is actually transplantable to another case without much difficulty. And this goes, oh yes, this does have to wire up to the front, which will sync this from the motherboard. So I'm very happy about that. This does only support 2 hard drives. And on the review I saw said 1. The reason why I'm going to say 2 is because if you take the hard drive mount out, there's actually holes on top for a second. So this has the necessary screws that we need. Cable management looks solid. You can fit, you know, 1.5 fingers under there. This has flex to it. That's to be expected. I'm okay with that. What I don't like is I wish this would have been black. But it's like, it is what it is. We got grommets there. We have cable routing. I would like grommets up here, but cable routing up there, which is good. Do we have, let's switch this around here. Oh, nice. So, oh, this is really cool. So this has an SSD mount here. We're gonna do an NVMe. You have holes right here, and then you also have a hole right here. So this could be for your 6-pin. Albeit, LTT likes to do it this way to kind of act as a brace for it. That's not a bad idea, but aesthetics, I hate it personally, but it's actually a good idea. We have a top dust filter. We have a bottom really basic dust filter, but hey, it gets the job done. And I wanted to go over spacing, so I will be brutally honest. No, yeah, you can. So even with tall heat sinks, you have a lot of room because the board's going to start, I guess the board's going to start here. So you should have room for that 280. I would say if you have really tall heat sinks, it might be a little close, but 240s are recessed really far. So there's a bit like a gap to do push-pull with 240s almost. But I would go to say we're doing air cooling. I've not done a lot of water cooling recently, but that's definitely good to see. And then top we have USB 3, USB 2 headphone microphone. This is the LED switch. Oh, it's reset and LED and power. That is good. Really like that. Let's look at the front here by pulling this off. Oh, nice. It just comes right off. Mesh. There is no front filtration outside of mesh, but I kind of expected this to compromise a little bit. You can see those giant fans, you know, like mentioned, they don't move a lot of air. There's 2 reasons for that. I'm not actually liking the way this is mounted personally, but I think that's the only way it can go. Yeah, that's probably the only way it can go. So it is what it is. This is set up for 3 120s, 2 140s. So this might fit 3 140s. I'll have to double check, but it's set up for it, so there's definitely airflow impedance here, which kind of stinks, but I would say a $70 case, you're not putting a 5950X and a RX 6900 XT. There, I said it. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to start doing some videos on other ones, but I'm going to go ahead and build in this, see how I like it, and hopefully I can give my recommendation. Oh, everything turned green. The graphics card, Gigabyte, like, that also turned green. Wait, let me check another color just to be sure this isn't a fluke. Let's do white. And memory, actually, that's not too bad of a color, white. Nice. So what do I think about this case? There's a lot of things I really like about it. It actually has an SSD tray in the back. I like the one in the middle up front, so you can kind of like showcase your SSD if you do have a SATA. It does lack proper filtration, but it does have mesh in the front. The 200 millimeter fans are quiet. They don't move a lot of air. Like 200 millimeter fans usually are slower. They do move air, but the problem is if there's anything obstructing it, like mounting, it's going to reduce the amount of air it goes through. So that is definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. I like this being a side panel that goes on, so you actually put it on a track. So this, I would still recommend laying it down, but you're less likely to drop it forward. Once you pull it backwards, then you can pull it off. Cable management is lacking a little bit in the back, just not as much room back there as I thought. 2 hard drive slots is fine. No breakout cables. Everything is kind of in the right spot. The power supply is a little tight, I will say that. And I didn't use a super big power supply, so it is what it is. But there's the elephant in the room, and that is thermals. So when you have 200 millimeter fans that are obstructed and they're already not moving a lot of air, there's definitely an issue with thermals. And if thermals were actually really a problem with this review, I probably wouldn't recommend this case, but they're not. So now, if you're throwing a 3950X, 5950X, 10900K, high-end RTX, high-end RX 6000 series, maybe. But when you're going like RX 5700 XT and an i5 or Ryzen 5 or probably even a Ryzen 7, and the key thing I think is this air cooler. If I didn't have this air cooler, which I think it's doing a really good job, but we'll keep that in mind. So to let you know, the i5 peaked at 55 degrees. The graphics card peaked at 64 degrees on the hot spot, which is fantastic. Mind you, that was playing 1080p, ultra settings, F1, and also did IS64 for 15 minutes. So really solid on thermals for like mid-range, upper mid-range systems. So that's it. I'm going to recommend this case if you want something I think is functional, easy to build in, has the RGB, has everything you need for 70 bucks. I think this is a really, really good option. If you like the video, hit the like button. Dislike, hit the dislike button. Leave a comment, get subscribed. Buy this case or anything else I have features video in the description below. I do get a small kickback. And as always, this is Steve from Big Head Tech, and I'll see y'all later on down the road.